What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. It is the day after the night before, and it ain't feeling any better this morning, I'll tell you that. It ain't feeling any better. We all know what happened last night. An absolute bungle of another transfer. Spurs are in the mud. We're in the mud. Everyone that believed that was are in the mud. And Tottenham have gone and done it again. Like, what more can I say on that situation?
Only thing more to say is Eze's retiring from trophies. That's it. Fair play to him. If he wants to do that, go right ahead.
You know what I mean? Like,
go right
don't
ahead.
Want to move to the European champions?
Exactly. He wants to retire from
Jog
trophies.
on, mate.
Confirmed. He's hanging up his trophies.
I tell you what, though, like the hit list for next season is this season is growing and growing.
With every deal.
The hit list from the away fans and at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is just growing and growing. Arsenal are always on the hit list. They're never gonna leave the hit list, but it's even more on the hit list now. You got Eze there. You got Crystal Palace there with Parish. You've got Nottingham Forest with Marinakis, Mr. Marinakis, and you've got Morgan Gibbs-White as well. Like, all these guys on the hit list. They're going to get it this season.
They'll probably grow. Savinho won't come, so they're going to be on the hit list, as they usually are. There's going to be a lot of people. I think half the Premier League are going to be on the hit list while we're done with them.
Pretty much. But it is so frustrating, man. So frustrating. We're sitting here 21st of August. We're in desperate need of signings. We really thought Eze was going to get over the line. Like, I said it last night. I think, like, fool me once, shame on me, shame on you. Fool me 1,365 times. That is definitely shame on me for believing time and time again with this football club. I'm so frustrated, and it makes you think about any other transfer target or any other thing like that we're going to talk about now. It just makes it seem like, what's the hell's the point?
You should never underestimate Tottenham's capacity to let you down. Never underestimate it.
Literally. Any other club, yeah, if you hear from their like top ITK saying there's an agreement in principle, a verbal agreement, like every other club, like it just goes like on an upward trajectory from there. For us, from that moment on, it just went down and down and down and down. That's all that. It's crazy.
Any other club gets the bloody here we go from Romano, the deal's done. And even we bungled that. We're an incredible footballing institution. There's nothing like us, I don't think. We're one of a kind, one in a million. We only Tottenham can grab a loss from the jaws of victory. That's what called being Spursy is. We've done it in many games, and now we're doing it in many deals. That's just who we are.
It's who we are, mate. But yeah, like for me, that's it. Like, I ain't getting excited at all. Not even when he's wearing a shirt. I don't think I can get excited anymore. Maybe when he's wearing a shirt, but no transfer rumor is getting me excited anymore. I'm done, man. I'm so sick and tired of this crap, year in, year out. And this year, like, you know, we were told we're going to spend big money, investment, all this kind of stuff, and it looks like we were throwing our weight around to a certain extent. You know, here we goes for Morgan Gibbs-White, Kudus in the space for a week. Most recently, a here we go soon and verbal agreement and all that crap for Eberechi Eze. And now we're just sitting here twiddling our thumbs in desperate need, scrambling around to bring in not only one, but we're led to believe two number 10s from now until the end of the transfer window.
Yeah, they ain't happening. Lucky if we get one. We'll be lucky if we get one. I can't. Well, there's talk of Tottenham trying to bring in two attackers and a defensive player as well. We ain't getting all this deal, all this business, because we also have to let go of players as well. That's gonna potentially take time. I do think there is going to be, in general, a lot of movement in the latter stage of the window. I think there's going to be lots of deals done, but I can't envisage at this point in time us sitting here at the end of the window and we're happy with our business. Yeah. That seems like so far away. Yeah,
it's
you never know, but
it's hard to believe when you're thinking you're getting the calibre of Morgan Gibbs-White and Eberechi Eze, Premier League proven quality through the door. You know, Nottingham Forest best player, Crystal Palace's best player. Are we going to get anyone of that level from now until the end of the window? Or is it going to be more kind of like potential kind of players?
Well, all the proven ones are all taken, so it's going to have to be potential, really. Yeah. I think, look, they're a good, and potential doesn't mean bad, just means not guaranteed. And that's reality. Look, well, there's a lot of players we've signed who have been potential and turned out to be big hits straight away. So obviously that's got to be the hope. Like, you've got to look at some of the deals that potentially we're talking about, which we'll get into. There are some good players there, and I don't want to I feel bad for some of these players who are linked with, because they're just going to be held in comparison to who we've lost out to, and it's not their fault. And they're good players in their own right. So I feel bad, like if we sign, let's say, for example, a Dibling or whatever, and he's not an immediate hit, and he's going to take all the brunt of the criticism because he's not Eze, he's not Savinho, and people will use him as an example of our lack of ambition. But he is a good player. I think a lot of these players are good players. So if we do sign them, it's only fair you give them a fair chance to show how good they are and support them, which I'm sure we will. But I feel like the reaction to a lot of these links is obviously right now an emotional one off the back of the failed Eze bid.
Yeah, which is fair enough. Which is completely fair enough. With, Spurs fans have been put through the mill, like, over the course of this transfer window. We were all buzzing when we got Kudus, but since then, yeah, we're fine. We got Palhinha on loan, which, I think we're all happy with. But it's not been good enough. And we need players to come in and move the needle for us. And I don't think like a player like a Tyler Dibling does that. Like when you're talking about bringing in Eze and Morgan Gibbs-White and you end up with Dibling, of course that's going to be underwhelming. And I think...
I'm talking about if you get like a Pat or an Akliouche, these guys are good. I like them.
Yeah, they are good players, but still, I don't think like they're as proven as the likes of Eze and as the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White. Yeah, and they could come in and do the business for sure, and we'll be happy with them at the end of the day. But the initial reaction is always going to be underwhelming.
Yeah, and that's my point. It's only if we didn't go for this whole Eze saga, it wouldn't have been, but we have. But these are good players, and these guys can come in and do well quickly is a possibility, and these guys are very good players, and I feel bad for them in a way that people see them as underwhelming, but it's only natural reaction. That's the reality.
Look, the remit for this transfer window was clearly to get proven players, experienced players to come in, and it doesn't look like, well, we've got a couple in, but it doesn't look like for the position of number 10 to fill the shoes of a James Maddison and a Kulusevski, who are kind of experienced players, Prem proven players, in the leadership group and everything like that. Like, we're not going to get players of that ilk. That's the issue.
No, I agree with you, and that's frustrating. But proven is only good because it gives you more. It gives you more assurance that these players are going to come in and not take too long to settle and know the league and all these different things, and that it gives you and the fans, I guess, less anxiety. And obviously, they're more commonly known names that you're being linked with. So people, obviously a lot of the fan base is going to know them, and everyone's going to get excited. It's more comfortable, but doesn't mean these players that we're getting. What's important isn't them being proven. That is obviously a nice element, but it's not the most important thing. It's not the number one. Number one is quality. How good are they? That is the most important thing. And if they're good enough, and we believe they can make an impact now, even if they're not proven in this league, if we scout them, they believe we can make an impact, then there's enough reason there to be excited. Doesn't mean that's a plan destined to fail just because they're not as proven as Gibbs-White or Eze. But I get it. You would obviously rather a proven player because they're proven. And that gives you more assurance that this player is going to come in and give you what you need. And there's more chance of that happening.
But as much as it's not a chance destined to fail, which I agree with, it's also not a chance for immediate success.
It is. There is a chance.
Oh, no, sorry. It's not a 100% kind of...
No.
You got full trust they could come in and get instant success.
Yeah, but even with proven players...
It's kind of either way. Like with someone like Eberechi Eze and Morgan Gibbs-White, I was fully convinced that they would come in, hit the ground running, and be a very important player for us from the off.
Agreed.
The players that we're talking about now, the Akalouches, the Patses, I think they're all unbelievable talents, but I'm not 100% sure that they can be very important players for us from the off.
I understand that, but even with proven players, it's not guaranteed. It's just a higher likelihood.
Yeah.
That's what you're paying for. And I'm just saying, even with the players we're linked with now, maybe the likelihood is lower. Doesn't mean it's not possible, and doesn't mean it can't happen. That's the only point.
Nothing is, for sure. Nothing's for certain. Some things are more certain than others. And, you know, you just go back to our history where we've signed kind of these players before and they haven't worked out. Where you sign a Dele Alli, 21 years old or 18 years old, however old he was when we signed him from NK Dons. No one expected nothing from him. And he came in and was an unbelievable player for us for a number of years. So, look, anything can happen with if you get the scouting right and you bring the right players in at the right time. It's just going to be underwhelming. That's the only situation.
Yeah, and that's true. But I'm saying the guys we're linked with now, it's not like these guys are, for example, like a Gray or Berggrau who've only been playing, for example, the Championship in the Swedish League. These guys have been playing top-level football for a couple of years at least. And I know they're young, but it's a bit different. Like, I don't want to see like people, if people are comparing these signings to the signings made last year, I think it's still in a different level to that.
Well, let's see who we actually bring in first.
If I'm saying if it's the guys we're linked with.
Let's see who we actually bring in first, because like even the players that we're about to talk about, there are, you know, ups and downs in terms of whether we think they'll come in.
Likelihood, yeah.
The likelihood. So look, let's get into it. Let's get into the Tottenham update and see who Spurs have been linked with post the Eze drama yesterday. And the first one actually is just going to be the old Savinho situation. And there's Fabrizio Romano that says that Tottenham are not giving up on Savinho. They're going to try again despite the resistance from Manchester City. And then later on today, he said Tottenham are still trying to get Man City's green light for Savinho, as reported last night. Manchester City hierarchy blocking the move as they want to keep Savinho, but Spurs are pushing again. Thomas Frank is a big fan of the Brazilian. Cahe Mota, which is a Brazilian publication, says that Tottenham have increased their bid for Savinho to around £69 million after Eze's decision in favour of Arsenal. Players' agents remain in the UK to manage talks between the clubs. The Mail are reporting that Tottenham remain determined to complete a deal for Manchester City forward Savinho, and Gary Jacob and Tom Allnut both say that although Spurs have been put off by the 60 million valuation, talks are likely to accelerate for Savinho after the teams meet on Saturday. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of something I said over the last couple of weeks. Like, I do expect something like talks to definitely heat up after Spurs play Man City, but I've got no kind of positivity about this deal at all.
I'm just not buying any of it. I'm not buying any of it. Especially, I wasn't buying any of it before, especially after what's happened with Eze. Not buying any of it now. I just don't see. It doesn't make sense. Tottenham are put off by their valuation and Man City don't want to sell. So both things, so if Man City don't want to sell, they're not likely to lower their valuation. And if Tottenham are put off by the 67 million valuation, they're not likely to meet that. So I don't see how there's any positivity come from this deal, unless at the moment it's just Man City playing hardball, hoping to get a higher bid. Yeah. Unless that's what's happening. But I don't know. A lot of the people, saying that Man City genuinely don't want to sell him. And I can understand their lack of willingness to sell because he's a good player and he's very young. He's only been there a year. It would be a sale in haste, I would say. Obviously, again, as we've said, if they're looking to get Rodrygo, it makes sense. But that might be off the table at the moment. Maybe it comes back alive if this sale does go through. But I'm just not buying any of this. I don't think Tottenham are going to go that high. I don't see any evidence that Tottenham are going to make such a big bid for him. There's no evidence in the history of the ownership that they would. I don't see when you compare him to a lot of the other deals being made so far this summer for attacking players, that the club would be willing to go that high for someone like him. I just never bought it, and I still don't buy it.
But the club are desperate.
I understand that.
In a desperate situation right now.
And maybe that will shake him into action, but I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not convinced. I'm just not convinced whatsoever.
Yeah. I do kind of feel very similar way to you about this deal, but look, Spurs need to make a move for someone pretty quick. And if they're going to have to overpay, they're going to have. And at this stage of the window, you're probably going to have to overpay on anyone that you're going to bring in, especially if he's going to be of a required quality. So, do I believe this is going to happen? No. Do I believe that Spurs should push the boat out and bid the kind of money that they're asking for? Yes, 100%, because like I said, we're in a complete desperate situation. He's a player that would come in, be part of our first 11 or our strongest 11 straight away. Top quality player. The only thing that makes me kind of be a tiny bit positive on the deal is what we've heard before in the past, that Savinho would like to move to Tottenham. And if that's the case, and Pep Guardiola, usually does get rid in those certain situations, then there is a small glimmer of light there. But however, it is very small.
Just don't buy it. I don't buy any of it. Don't believe any of it right now. When it comes, look, I just think all the facts of this case don't lead to Tottenham ending up with him.
Yeah.
I also feel like when it comes to being desperate and overpaying, I think for a number 10, I agree. I don't think they feel. I would be surprised if they feel the same way for Savinho.
They should, though.
They should. Again, if I'm a fan, if it's up to me, I would. But I think for Savinho, we've got 4 wingers at the moment in the squad. I think obviously they're all going to be part of the squad, and I think all of them the club like. So I don't think the club are looking at Savinho thinking we have to get him in by any means necessary. I think they'll probably look at this deal and think if the money's right, we'll do it. I think when it comes to a number 10, a player that we have currently in the squad and we're desperate for, then I think okay, maybe they'll think we might need to push the bar a bit more because we just need this player. I just don't see them thinking like that for Savinho. I don't see why they would.
They should be thinking about that, because our best winger of a generation has just left the football club in Son Heung-min. And I'm not saying Savinho can come in and be another Sonny straight away or ever. But what I will tell you is that the wingers that we have right now, Kudus aside, were in the squad last year. Didn't get enough goal contributions without Sonny. Sonny was our leading goal contributor last season. Yes, we've brought in Mohamed Kudus, who doesn't exactly set the world alight last season with goal contributions. So we need more in there desperately. Savinho got, 10, 11 assists last season. We need more players of that calibre to come into the football club. And yes, I know he only got 1 goal, but you can see the supreme quality that the guy has. You can see it week in, week out whenever he's played. So I think it is a desperate case to bring someone in on the wing. I really do.
Yeah, but I don't know if the club feel the same way.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And I don't see the club putting Savinho in the by any means necessary category. I just don't see that.
All right, next up we are going to talk about... who are we talking about next? We're going to talk about Magnus Akalouch of Monaco. Matt Laws says that Tottenham are interested in Akalouch but will face competition from Bayer Leverkusen. Spurs are looking to frantically attempt to bounce back after already missing out on Eberechi Eze and Morgan Gibbs-White. Sources believe Monaco will sell him if they receive an attractive bid. Miguel Delaney says that Spurs want to sign Magnus Akalouch and 1 additional attacker before the summer transfer window shuts. L'Equipe are saying that Tottenham transfer target Akliouche looks set to remain at Monaco this window. While there is interest from multiple clubs, his €70 million valuation is not being met with any interested party. And Gary Jacobs says Tottenham's new number 10 shortlist includes Akliouche. Inter Milan were interested but told he would cost £60 million, which is not far off the €70 million valuation as reported earlier by L'Equipe. So it feels like to me that this guy could be like next on the list after Gibbs-White to Eze, and then it could be him. Yeah, we spoke about him as an alternative to Savinho, and I was saying he makes a lot more sense as an alternative to Eze than Savinho, and I think this it looks like he is potentially an alternative to Eze. I think he is much more of a number 10 / kind of like right winger kind of player. I think he perfectly fits the squad. I think he's got unbelievable quality. I thought he was fantastic last season when I saw him for Monaco in the Champions League. Got a great left foot, so technical, great passer as well. I would love him through the door. Again, this is a player. Last season was kind of his main breakout season for Monaco. You're talking 60 million, which is the same as Eze. Will Tottenham think he's worth that? Are they going to try and get them down to like 50 million, 45 million or something like that? Obviously needs must for me. You get him in if he's your number 2 target or whatever, and he's next on the list. You get him in and you force it and you do your best, and you don't allow this deal to melt away just because you might be overpaying a bit. You need to get this deal done. We're in desperation territory here for a number 10. So I think if he's next on the list, which I can understand because he's a fantastic player, get him in. If it's 60 million, pay the 60 million. All right, you're overpaying, but that you could make that up in spades. If he has a good season, all of a sudden he's worth 80, 90 million anyway. If that's what you're worried about. So look, is 60 million a bit of an overpayment for him right now in this stage of his career? Potentially, when you're comparing him to some of the other attackers that have gone in this window,
You know, City's probably worth about 50, but who cares? Pay the extra money. Stop worrying about a few extra million here and there. The most important thing is get him over the line. What did Paratici used to say when he came in? He said sometimes, you know, you haggle over 1 or 2 million and you end up losing the player, when if you just pay the money, you get what you need. I'm pretty sure he said something to that ilk when he first came in. And that's what we've got to do in this situation. That's what big clubs do.
How long ago did he join us?
2021. Now he understands how things work. Yeah.
Look, I would like to see him in. Am I confident that Spurs can get a deal done? Probably not. Leverkusen do seem kind of further on in the deal than us at this moment in time. It's not to say that Spurs can't steal a march on them, you know, the flashing lights of the Premier League and all that. There has been suggestions that he might even just stay at Monaco for another year of development there. He's got a really good thing going at Monaco where last 2 seasons he's been growing as a football player. And he's got regular goal contributions for 2 years now at Monaco. So there is a situation where he could just stay at Monaco for 1 more year. And then if he has another great season with Monaco, he could go to like a top club if he stays on this kind of trajectory.
Yeah. I think if it's a choice between us and Leverkusen, I think we can probably offer bigger money than them, I would say, like, you know, wages and whatever. And I think there's a likelihood he'll probably pick us over Leverkusen, considering Alonso's no longer there. It's a different kind of project now. So I would fancy our chances, but who knows with this club anymore?
Yeah, but him as a player, I think he would be a really good fit, not only as the number 10, but also to fill in on the right wing as well, because you've got then 2 players in Kudus and Akliouche who can both play right and can both play through the middle. And it gives us a bit of air of unpredictability. I think as well, if Brennan Johnson is going to be used and deployed as a left winger, we are in need of someone that can fill in on the right as well. So I think from a profile standpoint of the positions that he can cover, I think it could be a really good fit, to be honest. Next up, let's go to Morgan Rogers. Morgan Rogers. Fabrizio Romano says, the dream target for Tottenham internally is Morgan Rogers, but it is seen as a difficult deal to do because Aston Villa don't want to sell the player. People in the industry feel that the deal is almost impossible, but Spurs are thinking about him internally. Well, you can think about him all you want, but unless you slap down a bid of 85 million, this deal is not even going to be thought of inside of the Villa hierarchy. So there's probably no point even bringing up his name. There's no point talking about him internally. The only reason to talk about him internally is to make a plan for him when we play Aston Villa. That's the only reason to talk about him internally. Like, I would love to see Morgan Rogers through this door. And everyone that we're going to talk about on the list, he would be number 1. He would be my number 1 choice for sure. Can fill in multiple positions, top quality, proven in the Premier League. What an unbelievable year he had last year for Aston Villa. But this ain't happening. No chance in hell.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dream target for the right price, I'm assuming, for Tottenham. He's not a dream target like to stump the money down and pay the 80 million or whatever it's going to be to bring him in. We're not going to do that because we have the money. We can pay 80 million if we really wanted to, and if we're convinced by him, he's right there. But we're never going to lay that amount of money on one player. It's just, that's not in Levy's nature. If it's between paying a lot less for a more unproven player and seeing if he becomes good, or paying 80 million for someone like Rodgers, who's been brilliant for 18 months in the Premier League and just got Young Player of the Year at the PFA Awards a couple of days ago, we're never gonna pick that option. It's never gonna happen. The only way Morgan Rogers happens is if Villa are so desperate that we get them down to like 60 million or something.
No chance.
And they're willing to do a deal at that level. And yeah, it's never going to happen. Villa is too important for Villa, and Villa, they haven't had a great window themselves. I don't think they're in the mood to be letting one of, or if not their best player, go for such a cheap amount of money. I do think, in terms of his actual worth, he's probably in the ballpark of what we've agreed for Eze and Cunha and Mbeumo and all these things, but to Villa he's worth a lot more. And if you're serious about getting him out of Villa, then you're going to have to stump up the money. And I think the money they're talking about is just not. I don't think it's something we can't afford. It's just nothing. We're never going to do it. We're never going to pay that amount of money.
You say to Villa he's worth a lot more, but his actual true value is probably in the ballpark of what Cunha and Mbemba, right? I think for Tottenham, he's worth a lot more as well. And for Tottenham, he's worth to pay that money. He's worth to pay the 80 plus million that Villa would be asking for, or Villa would need to even think about this deal. Like, he's a player that can fill in on the wings, unbelievable number 10. He's an incredible player in my opinion. And I think when you're talking about the targets that we've been going for, the Rodgerses and the Ezes, he would have 100% be next on the list. 100%.
Yeah, we don't think in those terms. We think of market value, what's a fair rate for a player, and we don't want to overpay. We don't want to pay more than what we think he's worth. And it's not to us, but in what he's worth in the current kind of transfer market, what his current value is, and we'll determine that judging by the going rate. And I don't see Tottenham looking at the going rate and going, okay, well, I reckon at a push, like if we were in negotiations with Villa and they would we would maybe go up to like 70 potentially to just try and get the deal over the line. I just can't see us ever going anywhere near 80. I just can't see it.
Yeah. And I don't blame you for not seeing it, because I can't see it either. But next up, we're going to talk about, you know who's coming next. It's going to be Mr. Tyler Dibling of Southampton. The 19-year-old Fabrizio Romano says that Tyler Dibling is a name that has been mentioned internally at Tottenham. Everton are leading the race, but Spurs have made calls. Miguel Delaney says that Spurs have now made an approach for Tyler Dibling. So that's where we've moved to, gazumping Everton for their summer signing. Look, I like Dibling. I think he's a very good player, very good talent. But when you're talking about bringing in the likes of Eberechi Eze and Morgan Gibbs-White, this is the definition of underwhelming. Like, I like him as like a future star, and I think he can grow into a really good player. But he's not what we need to take us to the next level. I'm sorry, he's not.
I think when you're talking about, the conversation we had earlier, Dibling is in that category more like a Gray or a Bergvall, who's had, look, he's shown flashes last season, but he's only had a handful of good games, let's be honest, in the Premier League. And yes, he's shown that he's really good prospect. Don't get me wrong. I think what he's shown for Southampton last season, there's a lot to be excited about with Tyler Dibling, but he's 19. He's still got a lot of growing to do. He's still nowhere near the finished article. He hasn't even had one good season, like full season in his career yet. Like, you can't expect him to come in and be the game changer. It's just not going to happen straight away, or it's very unlikely to happen. It could happen, but it's very unlikely. And where does he fit in? He's not. I think some people say. I think his old manager Russell Martin did say he thinks down the line he's going to be a number 10. Last season, for most of the season, he was playing on the right wing for Southampton. So, are we bringing him in to play number 10? Is he? But he's never really played that position as much as maybe that might be his long-term position in a manager's point of view. That wasn't his position last season. That's going to take some learning, and he's 19, so he's still so young. This would be a long-term transfer. You can't expect him to come in and replace Maddison. It's never going to happen.
I'm sorry, you don't get Champions League qualification, win the Europa League, and bring in Tyler Dibling when Maddison and Kulusevski are out for a large chunk of the season. I'm sorry, that's just not what a Champions League quality side do. It's not. Like, if we're in the building, I know we're still kind of in the building phase, but we're in the building phase in terms of trying to sprinkle around some quality and some proven quality in the squad. This is more of the kind of signing that we would have made last season, potential signing. And if that's what we're going for on top of other signings, then fine. I'm all happy for it. But if this is our only kind of attacking midfield signing, then it's nothing short of a disgrace. I'm sorry. It really is.
Absolutely. It'll be a slap in the face, I think, to everyone if he's our number 10 signing.
Which, again, is unfair on him because he's got a lot of talent, and I think he's got a big future in the game, but it's just circumstances that we're not going to be happy with this. Like, like I said, if we brought him in with another player, I think we'd be quite happy with Tyler Dibling.
He just can't
but
be
he
the
can't
one.
Be the only one.
Yeah, he can't be the one we're relying on. It just can't happen.
But we all said it. I think we said it on this channel at the beginning of the transfer window. Tyler Dibling, deadline day, when we failed to get all our transfer targets in. And here we are, people.
It's going to happen. I guarantee. I reckon we'll get one in and he'll come in on deadline day on top of it.
All right, next up, we're going to talk about Mr. Nico Paz of Como. Miguel Delaney says Paz and Javi Simons also both considered as transfer targets. Paz is considered as the most achievable transfer with more movement expected today. Matt Law says that Spurs are following Nico Paz from Como, and Gary Jacobs says that Tottenham's new number 10 shortlist does include Nico Paz. 20-year-old, obviously had a stunning season last year in Como and Serie A. I think it's going to take probably a big fee to get him out of there. We know there's links with Real Madrid there. They've got like an 8 million or something stupid buyback clause for him. Is he destined to go back to Real Madrid at some point in his career? What's your thoughts on Paz?
Big fan of him as well. I really like what I've seen from him at Como, and I think he's the kind of number 10 we need as well. Someone with really great vision, a really brilliant eye for a pass, and he's quite tall. He's got good physical traits, so I think he would fit in the Premier League. But we spoke about him a few weeks ago, and it seemed unlikely then. Now it's later on in the window, giving Como less time to deal with a replacement, all that kind of stuff. Does that make the deal even more difficult? Do they demand even more money than they would have a few weeks ago?
That goes for everyone, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is going to make every deal even more difficult. But he was already quite expensive. I don't know how serious we were about these other players, but I know we were linked with Pats quite a bit heavily for a few days. I would love to for Tottenham to get a deal done and then bring him in, and I'm sure we'll ask the question again, but I don't know if we'll like the answer, and that's the reality. And he's a 20-year-old from the Serie A. I think he's got supreme quality, and I think he can come in now and really fit it right in. But again,
he is a player that's only had 1 year. You know what I mean? It's not like he's 20 years of age. It's still more of a potential signing than a here and now signing.
But he played a lot last season, and he had a very good season. And it could be, I think it's a signing you expect him to come in, and not saying be Maddison level, but you expect to come in, he's going to start, and he's going to be good. Like, that's what you're expecting of him.
Yeah, but it's not a signing on the same kind of caliber as what we were kind of thought we were getting.
No, of course not, but I think he's got great potential, and I really like him. I think there's a potential he could hit the ground running.
That's the word, potential.
Yeah, but of course, that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with players his age. The difference between him and Dibling is Dibling just showed it in fits and spurts for a relegation team. He never really done it over a whole season consistently. That's not totally his fault because he's playing for an absolute dog shit team, but that's just reality. I think Pat had a full, really good season, and he played a lot, and he was really consistent for a lot of it. So I think on that basis, we're getting a good player who we know in the top league has already had one very good season. So I think there's hope he can come in and do really well. Of course, it's not guaranteed, but I do think Pat's, when you look at him physically and you look at his quality, I would be very excited if we'd get someone like him in. But again, Como don't want to sell. There's that deal they've got with Madrid. Does that heighten the price as well? Is it going to be a similar price to Eze? Again, this is the kind of deal I just don't see Tottenham wanting to pay what they were going to pay for Eze for him, but they might have to.
Yeah. Next up, Javi Simons from Fabrizio Romano says that Tottenham did make contact for Javi Simons a few days ago. However, he does have his heart set on a move to Chelsea. What's going on with that move to Chelsea, though? Because, I don't know, nothing seems to be happening with it.
Well, apparently he's set to play this weekend, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe we can change his heart. Come on. Come on, Javi. You look so good in white. That's where you belong. He's a player who, despite being young, 22, he's obviously got loads of experience. Yeah. International level, Champions League, Bundesliga, a few different... He's played in Holland, hasn't he? He played in France, and now he's played in Germany. So he's a completely different level to most of the other players we're talking about when it comes to that kind of level of experience. Obviously, unbelievable quality, so versatile. He's a phenomenal talent, and I'd love him through the door. But yeah, if he's got his heart set on Chelsea, it's going to be hard to change that. So I don't know what to say about it if that's the case. But
why haven't Chelsea got this over the line?
Yeah, I don't know. It's very odd. There's talk maybe do they need to sell some players? I don't know what's going on there. Maybe if it falls through, we can pounce and be there. But I don't know. Chelsea, usually find a way of getting these deals done.
Yeah. And last but not least, for the you know, a lot of these might be bullshit. For the proper bullshit rumor of the day, we're going to go back and talk about Real Madrid's Rodrygo. I'm not sure why we're going to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it anyway, as a publication called Defensa Central say that Tottenham are in talks with Real Madrid to sign Rodrygo on a season-long loan. Real Madrid are happy to sanction the loan move as long as Spurs cover all his wages. The two clubs remain in talks whether a buyback option is going to be included.
Yeah, of course we are. Good one. Good joke. We should do stand-up comedy. God's sake.
You got to just laugh at this point. You just got to laugh at this point, mate. You can't even laugh at this point anymore.
No,
you're past that stage.
Too sad. Bloody, yeah, right. We're going to get Rodrygo.
On
loan.
We are. On loan.
Oh, fantastic.
They're going to add in an option to buy in there as well.
We're going to get Olise on a 2-year loan as well. Get him in. We're going to get everyone on loan. All the world-class talent we need. Make a cheeky bid for get Isak. Why not get Isak? He's available, isn't he? Get him on loan.
Why are you not excited, Tim?
I'm bringing the mood down. Sorry, bring the mood down. My fault.
Oh, anyway, that is your Tottenham update for today. The less said about the Rodrygo links, the better, to be honest. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on these transfer rumours in the comment section below. Do you believe that Spurs can get any of these players over the line, apart from a Tyler Dibling? I think Dibling's probably the one that I'm most confident that Spurs will probably get over the line, and he's the least one I want. So,
and to make everyone more angry, apparently Eze's not going to play tonight.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, the scumbags, man. The absolute scumbags. Everyone.
So I told you on stream was bullshit. This whole they want him to play. I thought it was bullshit. They heard Arsenal.
Our pants down. Crystal Palace, Steve Parish, and Arsenal have all had our pants down in this transfer.
I knew it was
bullshit. Actually unbelievable. We heard yesterday as well the report saying Arsenal have been laying the groundwork for this since like before the Super Cup game, or the 10th of August, whenever it was. They'd had a deal pretty much agreed since then, and it was just a case of pushing the button. And as soon as Havertz got injured, that's it, they pushed the button.
Well, if you think about it logically, if Palace wanted to delay the deal, they're not going to tell Tottenham, well, Arsenal have come in.
Yeah, of course.
So they have to find some sort of excuse. They're saying, oh, we're just waiting for him to play. Yeah, it's always bullshit. No club does that. Who does that? Oh, we wait for him to play a first leg of a Conference League tie. That's why you're delaying a deal. It's obviously bullshit. Yeah, Tottenham should have called them out of it straight away.
Yeah. So Eze have strung us along all this time. He knew about it.
He's a wanker as well. He does. Yeah. I don't care what anyone says. He's an absolute wanker.
Parish, he's strung us along all this time. Well, basically, they knew our fiercest rivals, the scum of the earth, Arsenal, were waiting in the background just to push the button on this deal all the time throughout all these negotiations, going back and changing things about bonuses here, bonuses there. We want him to play against Chelsea. We want him to play against Fredrikstad and all this crap, when they were just waiting for Arsenal to push the button.
Lying to our faces. This is what I remember saying this when we were in Italy, when we first got the news of the Eze transfer. And it ended up being right. I said I think we both said it. The worry is, are we basically just negotiating on Arsenal's behalf, and are they just going to swoop in? And then as the time went on, it seemed as though Arsenal weren't interested, but it seems as though it's exactly what we did.
Yeah,
we just spent weeks and weeks negotiating for Arsenal.
It's not what we did. It's not what we did, because they had apparently a deal in principle before we even started negotiating. Apparently, they had the deal in principle done when we were playing out in Udine. So apparently they've done all the negotiations.
What was the wait then?
Apparently the wait was just for them to actually confirm and actually put in the bid. Apparently they didn't put in the bid. They just had something verbally agreed.
What took them so long?
I don't know. Havertz got injured and it changed everything. I don't know if they were actually going to do it before Havertz got injured. But apparently they had it ready to go.
Sounds like this whole Havertz thing as well. He's only out for a few weeks. It doesn't sound like that's the cause. I don't know. Maybe they're always going to do this. I don't know. The whole thing is just an absolute mess, and we've just been embarrassed by the whole thing. It's just so embarrassing.
Well, Eze, enjoy your bloody retirement from trophies.
Exactly.
You've just created a target on your back from the Spurs fans, and that's for sure. Whenever you come to Tottenham, it's going to be fun. Anyway, let's move on. That's your Tottenham update. And let's go and talk about game week 2 of the Premier League. Predict the Prem. Me against Sim go head to head in predicting each and every Premier League outcome. The scores at the moment after game week 1, 9 points to myself, 3 points for Sim. It's 1 point for a complete scoreline, 5 points for a 1 point for a correct result, 5 points for a completely correct scoreline. And we always pick a star man at the end of the episode as well. You cannot pick them once you have. And it's 5 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist. And let's get into the weekend's game. Starting off at Friday night football at the London Stadium, West Ham against Chelsea. Sim has gone for 2-1 to Chelsea, and I have gone for 3-0.
Yeah, I just think after losing to Sunderland like in the way they did, there might be, especially at home under the lights, there's gonna be a bit of a reaction from this West Ham team. I don't think they're going to want to be embarrassed like they were last week. Problem is, even with the reaction, are they good enough to get a result? I can see them making things tougher for Chelsea than they did for Sunderland. And obviously Chelsea weren't at their best last week either. They might take a bit of time to get into the season, but I think Chelsea will have enough to win this game. I see it being a bit of a tougher game though, being a London derby early in the season. Want to get away at one of their rivals, but I think they'll win 2-1.
For me, there will be a reaction, but the reaction is going to come from Chelsea. I think they're going to be disappointed that they drew in their first game against Crystal Palace. I think they're going to be proper out to get West Ham, and I can't see West Ham have anything about them to stop the onslaught that's going to come from Chelsea. I think Cole Palmer I don't think they're going to be able to handle him. I think João Pedro is probably going to get on the score sheet for the first time in the Premier League for Chelsea. And I think it's going to be more or less one-way traffic in this game. So I have gone for 3-0 to Chelsea. Next up is Manchester City against Tottenham. Sim has gone for 3-2 to Man City. I've gone for 1-0. I see Spurs setting up with a very defensive formation, similar to the one that we saw against PSG in Udine, 3-5-2. And I see Spurs being really hard to break down. I see us creating maybe some opportunities on the transition, on the counter-attack, but I don't know. I just see us fail to score in this one, and I see that being really hard to beat, but Man City will find a way to break us through once in the game, so I've gone for 1-0.
I've gone for 3-2. I see an entertaining game. I think Man City showed what unbelievable quality they got in the forward line in the first game against Wolves. They really played some great football. But I do think defensively they can be got at, and I don't think they're a really tight unit at the moment, albeit they kept Wolves at bay. But I think obviously we offer a lot more than Wolves, and I think we'll show it in this game. I think set pieces is going to be a big thing. I can see it being quite a topsy-turvy game with City getting a late winner, both teams kind of giving as good as they get, and I think Frank will have a good plan for this game, I'm sure. I think he'll know what City are going to offer, and he'll try and counteract that. But I think City just going to have too much quality on the day. So I've gone for 3-2.
Bournemouth against Wolves. Sim goes a 3-0 to Bournemouth here.
3-0, yeah, I think. They showed against Liverpool, albeit they were 2-0 down, but they got back in the game, 2 goals from Savinho, and they've still got some really good attacking talent. And even though they've lost a lot of defenders, I'm looking at their back line, and they got this Diakite guy. Senesi's back from injury. Senesi's good. I quite liked him before he got injured and Zabriani and Hyson took his place. He was actually starting before obviously he got injured, and Hyson came in and never looked back. So they've still got some decent players. It's not the worst, and obviously their front line is still quite difficult to play against. The Wolves, I think, for me, unless they're getting some real talent in, I just think they're going to really struggle. I'm looking at their team, man, and there is a severe lack of quality. Pereira said that last week. He said they need 3 or 4 players before the end of the window. So I don't think they've signed anyone in this week. I just think Bournemouth are going to be more buoyant, and I've gone for them to wipe the floor with Wolves here, 3-0.
Yeah. Look, there is a severe lack of quality for Wolves, but I think as well with Bournemouth, their defence does worry me. I know you're saying you're impressed with a couple of players there, but when you lose 3 out of your starting back 4 and 3 fantastic players in there, there's got to be some sort of a drop-off. I think Strand Larsen is going to have, he's got the physical presence to really try and cause some problems, but he's pretty much the only bit of quality they have there. So I think that Wolves can nick one off a set piece, maybe Strand Larsen getting on the end of one. But yeah, I do think Bournemouth are going to have a bit too much quality for Wolves here. You saw how they went to Anfield, got 2 goals. Semenyo seemed to have started the season on fire. They got Evan Nilsson up top as well, and other attacking talents. The way that Iraola plays, he's definitely going to take the game to Wolves when Wolves are going to sit back and try to soak up pressure and hit them on the counter-attack, I think. But yeah, I see it being a bit closer, but I definitely think that Bournemouth's attacking quality is going to shine through by the end of it. So I've gone for 2-1 to Bournemouth. Next up is Brentford against Aston Villa. We've both gone the exact same scoreline here in Aston Villa 2, Brentford 0 at the G-Tech. And yeah, I mean, I really worry for Brentford this season. They've been absolutely stripped for everything that they've got, pretty much. And I see them having a really hard start to the season. And Aston Villa, they got a 0-0 first game against Newcastle. Maybe should have taken more out of the game. And I see them going to Brentford with their quality and just taking the win.
Yeah, me too. I think Brentford are severely lacking at the moment with all that's happened to them this summer. And I think this is a kind of a good game for Unai Emery to get their first win of the season, even albeit they haven't had a very good summer. But I think they'll just have enough quality to go to Brentford, get a couple of goals, Ollie Watkins or Rodgers, a couple of moments, and just see out the game. And we're comfortable win 2-0.
Next up is Burnley-Sunderland, the first matchup of the promoted side. Sim's gone for 1-0 to Burnley.
Yeah, I think this is a big opportunity for them to react to their opening day defeat. I thought the 3-0 against Tottenham, to be fair, I think both of these teams, I think the 3-0 was harsh on Burnley, and I also think the 3-0 probably flattered Sunderland a bit in their first game. So I think Burnley, I do think they're the worst team, but they're playing a team who were in the Championship last season. I know they got a lot of signings and they're a different team to that, but I can still see Sunderland maybe struggling to break down this Burnley team. And Burnley, they're not going to get many opportunities like this at home to a newly promoted side to get 3 points. They know they're going to have to take it. So I've just gone for them to shade it 1-0, probably a set piece, and then keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, I've gone for 0-0 here. I was looking at the games that they played each other in last season in the Championship. I know it's a much-changed Sunderland team. They've brought in a lot of players. And Burnley have made a couple of signings themselves. But I think you can look at it from a tactical perspective. And Burnley didn't score against Sunderland last season. Sunderland beat them 1-0 in one game, and it was 0-0 in the other game. And I just feel like Burnley are going to set up to frustrate Sunderland. Sunderland, in my opinion, will have more of the ball. And I just think both of these sides are just going to cancel each other out, frustrate each other. And I think it's going to end up in 0-0. I think both of these sides are just going to desperately not want to lose this game. And they'll both desperately want to win it as well. But I feel like the urge from both sides will basically just cancel each other out, and it's going to end 0-0. Arsenal against Leeds. Sim's gone for 3-0 to Arsenal. I've gone for 2-0 to Arsenal. No surprises here. I think Leeds, obviously, coming into the Premier League, getting their first win against Everton in the opening day, which is great for them. But I can't see them going to the Emirates and even scoring a goal, never mind taking anything. I think Arsenal going to be way too strong for them. The fans are going to be in a buoyant mood as well after the Eze situation. Maybe he'll be unveiled on the day. I'm not sure. Maybe he'll even be in the squad. Who knows? But if he's in the squad or in the starting lineup, it could be more 3-4-0. But without him, I still think they lack a bit of creativity with the way they set up and play. But they've still got the set pieces, and obviously they can score from open play with the quality that they do have. I feel Victor Gyökeres, you'll probably see his first goal in an Arsenal shirt this weekend too. Yeah,
they're going to have too much for Leeds. I think I've gone for 3. I think Gyökeres is going to be licking his lips at this Leeds backline, in my opinion. And I do think there's going to be a bit of a buzz in the air with what's happened with the Eze hijack. It's going to give the Emirates a bit of a buoyant party atmosphere, I feel. So I think they'll feed off that. So I'm going for 3-0.
Next up is Palace against Forest. Sim's gone for 1-0 to Forest. I've gone for 1-1 here.
Yeah, no, Eze, no party. That's kind of how I feel for Palace. I don't know who's going to replace him, but whoever it is, they're going to struggle.
Looks like Bilal.
Yeah, but is he going to be in time for Friday? As I'm saying, who's going to replace him in this game? So they're not going to have him. They're going to be struggling for creativity. I feel Forest, really good win in the opening day against Brentford. Played really well, showing they've still got that together. So they made some really good signings. Is Luis going to make his debut? Callum Wendo, is he going to make his debut? I think there's going to be a new energy about Forest even in this game. And Palace, look, I'm not saying they're going to in for a bad season, because once they replace Eze, maybe it'll change. But I think for this game, they'll be missing that player, and I think they're going to struggle to score. So I've gone for 1-0 Forest.
Yeah, look, Palace, always a very good team at home, and Forest, on the other hand, not very good side away. But I think when you're losing a talisman like Eberechi Eze, it's bound to have an effect, particularly if you don't have a replacement lined up to go in the first game. So I think that both teams can have their joy in this game because of home and away kind of situations there. And I think with the way Forest started their season, they'll be very happy, and I think they'll be confident going into this game. But I think Palace can definitely find something. Look, they've still got quality players up front with the likes of Mateta and Sarr, and they'll find something. Glasman is a very clever manager. He'll find a way to get them up for this game and to find some tactical ways to break through this Nottingham Forest side. But I couldn't pick a winner. I've gone for 1-1. Everton against Brighton. Sim's gone for 1-1. I've gone for 1-0 to Everton here. Opening day at the new stadium for Everton, and I feel that they'll get 3 points off the back of it. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. What's it called? The Hill Dickinson Stadium, I think
Something
it's
like
called.
that, yeah.
And yeah, look, the Everton fans are buzzing to get in there, buzzing to play a competitive game there. And yeah, and I feel like they're just going to edge it out of a very good Brighton side. Everton are going to be very hard to beat, and I feel there's going to be like just a air of inevitability about 3 points for Everton. I don't see Brighton scoring, and I see Everton just nicking it, maybe a set piece or something.
Yeah, to be honest, I forgot it's their first game in the new stadium, so that definitely factors in. But I just feel Brighton, they're going to keep a lot of possession. I saw how Everton...
Would you have changed your result?
Potentially, yeah, maybe I probably would have gone for an Everton win if I remembered it was their first game. But just on the merits of the both sides, I do think I was watching Everton last week face a team who dominated possession. They didn't deal well with it, and I feel like Brighton are going to have a bit more quality than Leeds did. But I know Everton actually do sometimes quite well against Brighton on the counter attack, and they're actually pretty good at soaking up pressure against them. Usually it was under Sean Dyche, not Moyes. So I did go for 1-1. I thought Brighton will probably take the lead. Everton would equalise after getting back in the game, and that's how it end. Yeah, you're probably right with the new stadium, and they'll probably win. But I've gone for 1-1, so it is what it is.
I was looking at a stat as well, because I was thinking, like, usually Everton do well against Brighton, right? But that's usually at the Amex. I think at Goodison, I think Brighton have won there the last 3 years.
I think they beat them 3-0 last season, didn't they, at the opening day?
As in Brighton beat them 3-0.
Yeah, Brighton beat them.
Yeah. All right, let's move to Craven Cottage. Fulham against Manchester United. Sim has gone for 1-1 here.
Yeah, I still think United did impress against Arsenal, don't get me wrong, but Fulham are just one of these awkward teams where these are the kind of games that really sets your consistency, and I just get a feeling Fulham are going to make things very difficult for Man United, and they're going to find a moment to score, because I'm looking at United's backline, I still think they can be got at. Their keeper, their defence is still not amazing, and Fulham find a way of exploiting these weaknesses, but I don't think they're going to win. I think Man United, they showed more than enough quality against Arsenal to show me they'll definitely score, and they'll probably dominate, and Fulham will be on the back foot. But I just feel like Fulham's first home game of the season, they'll be buoyant. So I've gone for them to eke out a draw, 1-1.
Yeah, I feel like Man United, I've gone for 1-0 by the way. I feel like with Man United, they will be disappointed with the result on the first weekend of the season, the 1-0 loss against Arsenal. They were the better team, in my opinion. They should have taken more out of the game. And I feel they'll take that hurt into this game away at Craven Cottage. They've won there for the past 2 years, I think 1-0 in both those scorelines. I'm really liking the look of Cunha, liking the look of Mbeumo. Sesko's probably going to start in this game, so you've got the trifecta all probably going to start for Man United. Yes, they do have frailties in that team for sure still, but I think they're just going to go there and just get a hard-fought 1-0 win. And yeah, look, it's not going to be an easy day for Man United, but because Fulham are a very good side as well. But I feel they'll just about get over the line, 1-0. Now, this has definitely got to be the game of one of the games of the weekend. Newcastle against Liverpool. Sim's gone for 2-2. I have gone for 3-2 win for Liverpool. And I feel like this is going to be a blockbuster of a game. I really do. It always is when these two sides play each other. And obviously, you've got the whole Isaac situation looming over this game as well. I'm sure the Newcastle fans are going to have something planned for this game in form of a tifo or something. There's definitely going to be something going down. But the way I'm looking at Liverpool at the moment, they look like they're an unbelievable force going forward, but they definitely have a lot of frailties at the back at this moment in time. You know, the fullbacks haven't got to grips with things just yet with Kirkes and Frimpong. I'm hearing you said Frimpong's injured for this game with a hamstring, so it's probably going to be Connor Bradley. Yeah, I mean, Newcastle can definitely get at this Liverpool side, even without Isaac. So I do feel like the Liverpool attacking talent with it, Ekitike, Salah and Gakpo and the rest of them, they're going to have the edge here. And I think they'll just about get over the line with a win. But it's going to be a blockbuster of a game. I see a lot of goals.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere. I think everyone, both of them are going to be absolutely going for each other, I feel, when it comes to this game, especially Newcastle. I see that midfield. Look, that midfield three at the best of times is one of the best with Tonali, Guimaraes and Joelinton. I think that front three pumped up with adrenaline going into this game is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Sending off, to be honest.
There could be. I also feel like, in a weird way, the way Liverpool play is quite suited to the attackers that Newcastle are going to have in this game, with probably Gordon. I don't know if he's fit, but maybe him, Barnes and Elanga. I think playing on the counter-attack and playing them into space with Liverpool, the space Liverpool left, especially against Bournemouth, could really suit them. So I think Newcastle are going to be well up for this. Obviously, Liverpool have loads of quality themselves, so I see them creating chances and scoring a couple of goals. But I think Newcastle will give as good as they get in this game. I know they struggled to kind of put the ball in the back of the net against Liverpool, but I just feel like that adrenaline's going to take them up a notch here, and it's going to be a rip-roaring atmosphere, great game, end-to-end, I see. But I'm going 2-2.
Yeah, so I think that will be the last game of the weekend, right?
Yeah, Monday night.
That's Monday night. Wow, under the lights as well.
Monday
it's going to be ferocious, that game. It really will be. And also, there's they played each other in the cup final as well. So Liverpool might want a bit of revenge on that sense.
On the Isaac thing, what he's doing is actually just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. He's playing for a team who next season are going to be in Champions League, who won a trophy. Mm-hmm. I understand he wants to leave Liverpool a bigger club and all this kind of stuff, but it's not like Newcastle haven't tried. They've went for Sesko, they went for Delap. Who else they went for? They went for a load of strikers. Liverpool also haven't put up the money that they've been asking, 150 million, right? So Newcastle have done their part. And it's not like he's acting like he's playing for West Ham or something, or he's playing for Wolves. He's playing for Newcastle, who are a good team, who have done well. So, okay, you might have to play for them for another year. Is that the end of the world? Is that the worst thing that you could ever imagine? You're still playing for a team who could be competing for Europe and could be competing for trophies next season. It's ridiculous that he's spitting his dummy out the pram like this.
No, but you know what? He's like acting like this summer is like his last chance to get a massive move, when it's like that's just not the case. Like, he's not even that old. Like, he's not old at all. He's a young player still. So he could play for Newcastle, still be the best striker in the Premier League, and add even more kind of worth to his value, and go to Liverpool next summer.
Like when Kane did this to us, like I think we had finished like 8th or 7th the season before, and we were going nowhere. That's what I'm saying. But we could kind of understand at the time, although I didn't agree with how he's acting. But I can kind of understand why he wants to do it, why he wants to go this far to move. But Isaac's like, he's playing for a good team. I don't understand it.
Kane did it for like a very short amount of time. Like, this Isaac thing is like being prolonged and prolonged and prolonged. We've gone into a season now.
He's saying
he don't want to play.
He's saying
he won't train.
He's saying even if he doesn't get his move, he's refusing to play. Yeah. What is in his mind? What is going through his mind? Is he crazy? Yeah. He's completely lost the plot, I think. Yeah. He's lost the plot. He's completely going over the top here. It's madness. I think it's madness what he's doing.
And, like Newcastle, they're paying him a healthy wage to be there.
That's another element. He's getting. It's not like he's getting 50 grand a week. He's getting 150 grand a week at the moment. And he's playing for a team who are playing in the Champions League. So if that's his big sticking point, I want to play for a team in Champions League. He's playing for one. And he's alienated. It's crazy. He's alienated the whole of the loyal Newcastle fan base, who are brilliant fans, week in, week out, home and away, no matter what. They travel in such numbers. He's not only alienated the fans, he's alienated his teammates as well, who I've heard rumours about, them
not even wanting Isaac part of the team, never mind Isaac not wanting to play. So, I mean, the guy has just gone completely about this in the complete wrong way.
He's played this so wrong. And I think whoever's advising him needs to get fired because they don't know what they're talking about. It's madness.
Yeah. Last but not least, the star men, and it's a Bournemouth head-to-head. Sim's gone for Antoine Semenyo. I've gone for Evan Nilsson, which probably means nil incoming.
Yeah.
But yeah, me, Evan Nilsson, Sim, Semenyo. Let us know in the comment section below. Who do you think will come out on top this weekend in Predict the Prem? And let us know your predictions. You let us know your star man. Play along with us as well and let us know your selections in the comment section below. That is Predict the Prem going into week 2 of the Premier League. And we've got some super chats to get through. Harvey04 says 1 Savio and Rogers, 2 Savio and Bilal, and 3 Bilal and Lookman. I mean, Savio and Rogers would definitely be my number 1 choice. I'm not so sure about Bilal and Lookman.
What 3 would I choose? Oh, number 1 would be on, yeah. Oh, is that his?
That's his, yeah.
That's his, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
Wishva says, just pay 100 million for Rodrygo and call it a day.
As in, don't even wait for a response. Just 100 million and then call it a day. And just see what, don't even wait. Just start naming him in the team.
Georgiou, big up, says, Enoch and Levy out, incompetence personified.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this, like, in terms of this summer, it seems as though everyone has been doing their job apart from Levy. If Levy's only job is to finalise the deal, right, and get it over the line, that's when he comes in, when it's negotiations.
Don't be silly,
Everyone's been doing their job apart from him.
Don't be silly, mate.
He's been
doing a great job, Daniel Levy. You've seen all the new sponsorship deals that he's bringing in.
Oh, we've got a fashion sponsor.
Exactly,
fashion.
Hugo Boss. You've not seen the plans for the high-rise apartment buildings that they're building right next to the stadium?
Phenomenal.
He is doing his job all right. He's just not doing his job on the footballing side, which is all that fucking matters.
Even if you just go off what we know, he's literally letting us down, like him. Like, because he's the one who does this. If we're talking about scouting and talking about, they've identified Gibbs, identified Eze, not that they need much identifying, but we've gone for those players. We've thought these are the players we need to bring in, right? And then Levy steps in, right? That's his role, and that's when it's falling down every time. So it's literally, you can point it directly to him.
Yeah, 100%. And ain't the first time, ain't going to be the last. I've said it on many of occasions, it's time to move on. It's time to go on to pastures new. Investment or no investment, we're still bungling deals.
There's a Sky Sports reporter, Martin Bundle, I think his name is. He tweeted out saying, what did he say? He said, told by a reliable source that Steve Parish was heard bemoaning the antics of Daniel Levy at Stamford Bridge on Sunday, already the Eze negotiations. Just wish we could operate in the transfer market with a core efficiency of a team like Liverpool, for example. # same old story. But he's obviously he's a Spurs fan, but he used to report for Sky Sports. So he's saying Parish was seen bemoaning Levy at the game on Sunday.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
But that's
Would
also
that
another thing.
Anyone?
Over the years, Levy has made so many enemies. He's made his life so difficult for so many people. No one wants to deal with him. Everyone wants to make life difficult for him now. Everyone wants to. It's like a thing. Levy's like tried to get one up on so many different chairmen. Now everyone is desperate to get one up on him.
That's what I said last night in the stream. I said that
it's like a game.
Yeah, I said last night that he's the one that. He was making it so hard for every single chairman to get deals over the line from us, or for us to getting the best value of the deal from them. And now nobody gives him an easy ride. Nobody gives him, look how easy it was for Arsenal to get Eze over the line. Look how easy it is for other clubs to get, so many other players over the line. There's so many cases of it. David Raya, Brentford. How easy was it for Arsenal to get him over the line? Spurs struggle in this aspect because of him, because of his ways over the last 25 years.
Because no one likes dealing with him, and he makes everything as painful as possible.
Nobody wants to deal with him, and I can't blame them. He makes everything so painful.
And when people use his antics against him, he doesn't like it, and his ego gets involved.
Yeah. Andrew Din says, Levy at it again. Same shit every year. Words are cheap. His action says it all. Still a penny pincher. This is the final straw for me. Levy out. Yeah, and I do see a lot of people being like, oh, but this one's not on Levy. And then on the Morgan Gibbs White saying, oh, but this one's not on Levy. But I mean, like, it can't, this thing can't carry on. It can't carry on that we keep missing out on players. Like, how is it not on Levy, the Morgan Gibbs White thing, when if we would have approached him in the right manner, we probably would have got him over the line?
Mm-hmm.
Who's that on? Is that not on Levy?
We tried to do it, so we made Marinakis look like a fool.
Yeah, is that not on Levy?
I mean, yes and no. I would say most clubs would have done what we did with Forest in terms of the information we knew. So I don't totally blame him for trying to activate a release clause, but 100% this one, I don't see how it isn't. Honestly, don't see any. I can't really. What kind of scenario is there that this isn't Levy's fault that we haven't got Eze over the line? When Maddison got injured on the 3rd of August, we've had Arsenal apparently weren't that interested up until the last few days. We've had so long to get this over the line. You know, on Saturday, the deal was so close, they were set to leave Eze out. And then all of a sudden, that backtracked for one reason or another because I don't know who wanted to go back to the table to negotiate more bonuses and more this and more that, more little things. And we dilly-dallied and we delayed and waited to ratify the deal. And then all of a sudden, we get hijacked.
But even if you're in the ballpark or in the camp and saying that this is Parish's fault for changing the terms and everything and waiting for Arsenal, that wouldn't be a case if Levy weren't such a prick for these last 25 years.
It's also true.
So whatever way you want to spin it, it always comes back to Levy, in my opinion. Next up is the Angry Christmas Baby saying, I'm American and became a fan in 2015. Thought I found a banging club. Now feel like I've wasted 10 years of my life. Sucks for childhood fans. Well,
yeah.
You're telling me, mate. You're telling me. Well, anyway, it's been bestowed upon you now.
10 years ago, he was called Happy Christmas Baby.
Oh, what's he going to be in 10 years? He's just going to be like
depressed Christmas baby.
Malware says, we are a meme of a club. We don't bring in top transfers. We only bring in top memes. Our version of a treble is bottling Eze, Morgan Gibbs White and Savio. Clown Levy.
Yep. Absolute meme of a club. So true.
Sam Chen says, I don't understand how you guys still see the positives. If you think this stream has been full of positives, I don't know what you've been watching, mate.
Look, if I'm in all honesty, as much as I'm heartbroken to lose Eze and I'm furious and I'm absolutely gutted, I do think we'll bring someone in. I don't know who it will be, and I don't think it'll be as good as Eze, but I do think they'll bring someone in, hopefully more than one. And I do think there's still a lot to be positive around Frank and what we've seen so far. And, you know, I think there's still a lot to be excited about. But right now, it's hard to see that because of what's happened. But I do think there's still a lot to be excited about when it comes to the team and Frank, regardless of the hierarchy. Just put that to one side. If you're just focusing on Frank and the team, I do think there's a lot to be excited about.
I agree with that. But, I mean, when we've bungled two of the biggest transfers that would have moved the needle for us this summer, and it's clear that if we get players of that caliber over the line as opposed to the players that we have now and the players that we're potentially going to bring in, the ceiling's different. The ceiling's going to be different
potentially.
in the season. And that's the most frustrating thing of it all.
Understand it. We were talking about
the excitement of the manager. I love Thomas Frank, and I think he's going to do a good job here. But it's about raising the ceiling of where this club could go this season.
Yeah, we were talking getting Savinho and Eze, and we're going to get top 5. And now that we probably have to park that talk until we see who we bring in. Yeah. But it looks that's going to look unlikely now. But as I say, I agree with that. But I still think I still think Frank is doing very well, and I still think there's a lot of players that could surprise us, with how they develop and even who they sign. Maybe they'll surprise us as well. Like, there's still a lot to be happy about with in terms of the team and with the manager.
Yeah, but the reality is, every manager fails at this football club for more or less the same reason. Not every, but the majority of them. And unless we start getting our act together and bringing in this required quality.
Apart from one who succeeded. and got fired for it. The bastards.
Who, Poch?
Huh? You know what I'm talking about. The man who
Pochettino.
lifted a European trophy. My Ange. No, I'm joking.
He's not joking, though. That's the thing. He's not joking. He still goes to sleep every night with a picture of Ange up under his
He
pillow.
was done dirty. The man won a trophy under these conditions. Should never be forgotten.
It's true. Look, all in all, Ange Postecoglou is a club legend. He always will be. And Sam Chen with another super chat saying, "This club is a joke. How are you guys this calm?"
We're not being going. Did you watch the stream last night? It's been going all over social media about how uncalm
Literally,
we were.
we've been memed all over the internet after last night.
So, look, you've got to dust yourself down and move on. That's the reality. We had last night to be depressed and down in the dumps. It's going to sting, and especially when we see Eze get signed for Arsenal and put on that shirt and score his first goal. It's all going to sting, all of that shit. But you got to move on. What we got to do is win at the fucking Emirates. That's what we got to do. What we got to do is put some money on the table and sign a number 10. We can't let it get us down. Anytime anyone tweets Eze, you go, "War a trophy." You got to fire it back at them. That's what it is.
Fighting talk from Sim, and we love it.
Exactly. Where is their European trophy? Where is it? You can have Eze. Where's your European trophy?
Exactly.
I don't see it.
Let's
Don't
all
see
go
one.
running around Woolwich with our European cup.
Exactly. Eze, you retired from winning trophies. You got to fire it back. You got to give it. You can't lay down for too long.
Exactly. We don't want players at this club that want to retire from winning trophies.
Exactly. We want players who have got ambitions to win trophies. That's what we want.
I think we're going to do it this year as well. We're going to win at the Emirates this year.
Exactly.
Got
Got to do a double over them this year. It's the only way.
We're going to do the treble, knock them out of cup as well.
Exactly.
All right, that is it from us today, guys. If anything breaks, obviously, we'll be back on to give you all the lowdown. But that's the situation for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
Come on, you Spurs.